Hello and thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform on Raypower FM. My name is Amici Anakwuna. The president is on his way to Plateau State. He was billed to be in Ogun State today to inaugurate their new airport, but because of the exigency of the situations, he has rerouted to Plateau State. Of course, you know what's happening in Plateau State. There have been killings. Up to yesterday, there were still killings in Jos and others. So good one on the part of the president. These are the kind of reaction we want from him. If he had also visited Maiduguri just before he went to London for the state visit, he would have also received that plus from us here. Because as a father of the nation, whenever you lose your children, you show empathy. So thumbs up for the president for going to Jos. Those around him should encourage him to do more of this. Even if you can protect citizens and arrest those that kill them, show empathy. That's exactly what the president is doing. Commendations to him. We'll also be talking about the situation in ADC, the big one, INEC withdrawing recognition to the David Mark-led executive of the party. With me on the program today is Abulo Semuagu and Tevetiaf will join us in a while. Abulo, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, my colleagues, my colleague here, and viewer. Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on the program. Commendation for the president. This is a remarkable step. Most leaders around the world will take this step to show empathy with the people, to sympathize with those that lost loved ones, and also there's an underlying fact why the president has to do this, because of the last appearance of the Plateau State governor in APC, armored personnel carrier to the Rukuba area where the killings happened, and the citizens didn't find it funny why he did that. So to redeem his image, the president has to do this because everything gets to 2027. 2027 is at stake. But by and large, I think what the president is doing will bring some succor to the people. But how do we stop these killings? There are insiders reports that persons know where these persons are. Will the president visit the supposedly flashpoints? Will he try to settle some scores? You remember during Mahmoud Buhari, when the Benue killings were happening, when he deployed the IGP there, and they said that there are communal issues. What issue is there in Cuba that is leading to this kind of killing? And we heard that the killing extended to some part of Kaduna as well. That Kaduna road axis to Jos, to Plateau State. So, well, we cannot shout more than we can. The military is doing their best, and the support from government is coming. We are seeing papers flying around.
Okay.
The 9 trillion naira the president has applied for additional budget, says for infrastructure and other things. We hope that this comes to an end and everything about security of Nigerians are not politicized. That is that's the painful part of it. If it's too politicized, sorry.
Okay, as the president heads to Jos, Plateau State, Kunla Dewale, welcome to the program. I will hope he will summon the political way. I was just remystifying about what happened under the Obasanjo administration, during the Obasanjo administration. These killings in Plateau started. He visited, an impromptu visit, just as the president is doing. When it persisted, he declared a state of emergency and order, tried to arrest the situation. Since then, the problem has not ended. Now, those in the security agencies, intelligence agencies, those in government know what the real problems are. They know what the solutions are, but they lack the will to deal with the problem. And as the president goes, I hope, and I pray to God. Sometimes they say pray for our leaders. In this instance, I pray to God to give him the wisdom and the courage to summon the will to look at the underlying reasons there. Because I saw footages, people being hacked to death on the streets. Is it Rwanda about 30 years ago or so?
Hutu and Tutsis.
Rwanda, 1994.
Yes.
And that's a memory that Rwandans are trying
forget.
Not to forget. They want to remember and tell themselves that it must never happen again. So, well, let me say good morning to all our viewers on YouTube and our listeners on radio first, and of course to you and Apollo here in the studio. I think, Amici, you just summed up my thoughts, because when you started speaking about the president's impending visit to Jos, the capital of Plateau, you simply spoke my thoughts, because there is nothing new that the intelligence agencies, the security agencies are going to find out that has not been found out. The underlying issues are known. The reports are gathering dust somewhere. It is time to bring them out. Everybody is talking about 2027. We need to have a country before we can have elections. We need to have a country before we can be talking about elections. So the political will is imperative to be able to solve this problem. And let's not forget that these are Nigerians. I'm not more Nigerian than those people who have been slaughtered in Angwarukuba or anywhere else in Nigeria where so much bloodletting has gone on. I'm not more Nigerian than any of them. So we must understand that every single Nigerian that is felled by a bandit's bullet or by a machete or by arrow or whatever form it takes away from each one of us. Okay. We must understand that. It's our common heritage. We have that right to life, and it's government's duty to protect lives and property of Nigerians. So the president has his work cut out. This is not the time for politicking. This is not the time to begin to consider interests, all those interests, all those pockets of interests. We must close our eyes to those things and put an end to this program.
Correct. They said, welcome. They said governing Nigeria is difficult, but I've said no. It's when you begin to consider interests. If you put your feet down and do what you're supposed to do, it's as simple as ABC. Now, these interests are what have prevented the resolution, long-term resolution of this crisis in Plateau State. I was thinking, Obasanjo imposed state of emergency. This petition we have established a STVs. What's the name of that military operation?
Special Task Force.
Special Task Force, Joint Military Task Force, Operation Safe Haven. We have done this. Even American lawmakers have come there. Name it. These are all dancing around the problem.
The issues.
Dancing around the problem. Deep down, if that's what I'm praying for, courage on the part of the president. But I know it will be difficult for him because he'll be facing elections in less than 1 year time. And this interests are also factored into this election. But like King Solomon, that pray God, give me the wisdom to rule these people. That's why I'm also praying that the president gets the wisdom to tackle the problem once and for all. He can do it if he chooses to be a statesman.
Amechi, good morning to you. Good morning, listener and our viewers on YouTube. You see, the problem in Jos, or Plateau State in particular, is central to Nigeria. It's not the president that will solve it. Anybody that thinks it's the president that will solve it, anybody that thinks it's the governor that will solve it, you probably don't understand what the issue is. The issue in Jos, like I said, is at the heart, is at the foundation of the Nigerian state. The issue of citizenship, indigenship, which you and I have been talking about here in the Constitution, and all of that. That is primarily.
Yes, it's about land, ownership of land, and indigenship, settler. That's the problem.
That's the problem. So it's way beyond what the president, way beyond what the governor is. The Nigerian state, because
and the agents of the Nigerian state is them. It's not way beyond them. They are the agents of the Nigerian state.
If you in the Nigerian constitution says a minister must be appointed who must be an indigene of the state. If you in the constitution says citizen of the country, somebody who has been given birth to, whether your grandparents or your great grandparents were in Nigeria, remember the article issue, and all of these are all issues that are central. Other day we brought the original inhabitants of FCT here, and they were talking about how they've been displaced of their status. They can't claim FCT as state of origin. These are all the issues that are so. The 2014
National Conference.
Tried.
Yes, I was there.
You were there. Tried to address that. When someone will say, okay, if you stayed in a place for up to 10 years and all of that, but then there are issues.
They shut it down immediately.
So that's why I say it's at the heart of what it is Nigeria.
So that forms part of the national question.
Yes.
We must not shy away from. We must find an answer to that national question. And we must find a solution to that national problem.
Exactly. So that is what the Jos and the Plateau State issue is at. And we must, that's why I said it's beyond just the president. All of us, the one we resolve and say we are going to fix it.
Who should be at the driver's seat?
It's the president.
It's not beyond the president and the governors.
What I mean by saying that is, he's going to Plateau State.
Yes.
We will not end it. We will not end it.
Yeah.
It will
it's
not,
what he does
policy pronouncement that will make. Don't forget, when these things happen, in Kwara, in Kwande, in Benue State, in Niger State, what did they do? They said they deploy or creating battalions. In Jos, there is a division. You can't create a battalion.
There's a barrack in Raypower.
So that was a division. The military has been, the soldiers have been on the streets since 2001 or 2002.
Yes.
So it's not, the issue of. I don't wonder what else the president is just to sympathize with people and all that. But one thing I must say. Yes. When we talk about security of lives and property, I think the governor of Plateau State, the other governors should go to Enugu State and see how technology has been deployed. Yesterday, I mentioned this issue. That Angwa, the heart of it is a junction. If there were CCTV cameras there, for instance, you can at least, if those were not wearing,
you will know real time.
You can, in order,
and it's not rocket
science. It's not. So when you talk about
10% of their security vote can do it, but they spend it the way they share it amongst themselves the way they like.
And I mentioned Abuja also yesterday. Do we have the functional CCTV on every street in Abuja? In every in Lagos is a
2026. So things that you. In your own house, you deploy CCTV.
Exactly.
I put it to you that there's CCTV in your own house. You have done what government has failed to do. That's why government at all levels has been responsible. And the basic they're supposed to do, and they have refused to do it.
And beyond putting those CCTVs on cameras on the street and all of that, the government also needs to find a way to encourage people. Because there are shops.
Around that now. We have
those shops also had
another very big issue.
30 seconds. A number of issues that date back well over 45, 50 years in Nigeria. I'll start with Ife and Mudageke.
Yes.
Talk about
UNDT
and Amuleri. Talk about
the ISA in
Ebonyi State. Talk about
ISA people.
What's the name of this one that I forget.
Everywhere. So these are issues that must be resolved.
Issues of indigenship and settlers. This is 2026. We cannot have a Nigeria that runs as if we're still in 1826.
Correct.
We work against this thing.
Just so remember,
a Nigerian must be a Nigerian.
If you take a history of people, even go centuries back, they always tell you they migrated from somewhere. That's what I tell people. It's a dynamic world.
The human is a migratory creature.
When Europeans went to US, they called it the New World. They met Red Indians there. They displaced them. The Aryan race is saying Africans, migrants are coming to displace them. But you displace some other people. So it continues. If you can stop it, you can only delay it. You're wasting your time. So if you're killing yourself, we are the indigenous, we are the landlords. You were not landlord. Your forefathers, they come from. That's food for thought, and that's by the way. Let's go to issue of even the Igbos. They say we are one of the lost tribes of Israel. One side, one narrative. So that means we were not the original inhabitants of the Southeast. Who were there before?
In 10 seconds, you don't compare Stone Age movement. Civilized people are just moving, trying to occupy spaces. Today there is modernization, and people that move, whatever they raise is very vital. I stayed in Kaduna.
No, I don't understand what you mean by they are not the same.
This is modern age.
Our movement, not the movement.
No, movement is movement, but there are some people that move to conquer. You move to displace, to kill.
No, everybody they move to settle.
Abulu, today.
Yes.
So civilization at the time of this age was the latest.
Yes, was their own civilization.
They did what they could do because of the knowledge available to them. Migration is an ongoing. As we speak, people are leaving different parts of the world to go to other parts of the world where they can find better life. Either they are fleeing from conflict, or they are fleeing from hunger, or they are fleeing from economic. The Rohingya. Do you know how many of them have left their countries and they have left Myanmar?
So it's a natural
phenomenon. It's a normal, natural thing.
Let's move to INEC decision to withdraw recognition to the David Mark-led African Democratic Congress. The ADC, their leaders will be addressing a world press conference at 1 p.m. Today in reaction. Nigerians have reacted strongly to that.
Let me quickly just chip in before the political TV.
Very quickly.
Now, some people on social media just still think till now that what INEC did is April Fool, the biggest April Fool ever in Nigerian politics. But we just some still hope that it's April Fool, that today INEC will leave on that statement and say, no, we just want to do an April Fool. Maybe it's an April Fool, and if not, the reality is facing us in the face. The issue have been there.
Okay.
We said that the ruling party will not stand aloof without planting molds. But my own point here is what are the solutions for the Mark Arigbo-Shola term? I tried to do my small research.
Okay, very quickly.
They can appeal INEC decision to the Supreme Court. They can also pursue the substantive suit in the Federal High Court. And they can challenge
for want of time.
And also they can mobilize against the ruling party if they don't want to go to court.
Quickly.
You see, when this thing started, when they were looking for a platform to move, we advised them. We said, register your own party. Because we knew that at some point, things like this will come up. And this is what we are saying. We'll listen to them, what they have to say. Some persons are also saying, look, the ruling by the Court of Appeal did not say recognize nephew Gombe. He said maintain status quo. So that status quo is what INEC has interpreted to be that,
or misinterpreted,
to be that nephew he should be the chairman, and all of that. And all of us know when you talk of maintain status quo, in several cases, almost everybody goes his or her way to interpret that. So we hope that most probably the ADC leaders would.
So should INEC not have gone to the appeal court to say, what do you mean by seek for clarification, rather than jumping into
they're not gone. So it's not left for the ADC leaders to go and seek for an interpretation of what the court meant by saying maintain status quo.
We are going right back to the issue of indigenes and settlers. Some people were in ADC before the settlers came, and that is right where we are back at now. And that advice that came from political platform that time, that these political actors should start their own party, register your own party. They would have been cleared by now, because some parties were registered only a week or two ago. They would have been cleared by now.
The NDC, the
Seraki Dixon's party has been registered. The NDC, we had, I think we had one of the
about 3 or 4
chairman of one of the parties on our sister station Kakaki yesterday morning. I think that was NDA or something. I can't remember the name right now. That party, if they had tried to register their own party, they would have gotten it by now. And they would have been on a sound footing, fresh.
But ADA, All Democratic Alliance, was one of the options they adopted.
Exactly.
And they sent an application to INEC. And INEC has refused to work on the application. Then, you said they should go and register party. They went with ADA. INEC has refused to.
They started. But at some point, it was a resolution of the ADC or the coalition opposition that they should discontinue.
No, they didn't.
They said, no, go by there. They check the report. They said, no, they go and check the report. They said they were not interested anymore.
ADA is Dr. Omar. Ardo.
Yes.
I spoke with him on our sister station.
Yes.
This week. Was it on Monday or Tuesday? And he told the matters in court. Because INEC had already written to them, telling them, you have met all the requirements. Let's proceed. The next thing, when they removed when the other INEC chairman, Mahmoud, left office, this new man wrote to them to say, you have not met the condition. They have a letter from Mahmoud telling them they have met the condition. So we have to understand it the way it is, as plain as it is. And I know, and I've said it on this program, that what I hear is that part of the reason Mahmoud was forced on early retirement was the recognition he gave to David Mark, National Working Committee, and the change in leadership. Immediately that happened, they got rid of him. Now, the Electoral Act is clear that internal affairs of parties should not get to court. Now, and the Supreme Court had indeed also strengthened this. The Supreme Court severally had strengthened it. Section 83, subsection 5 of the Electoral Act says, subject to the provision of subsection 3, no court in Nigeria shall entertain jurisdiction over any suit or matter pertaining to the internal affairs of a political party. In one of the PDP suits, the court told them, go and decide amongst yourself who's your leader. It's not our problem. Supreme Court have said, it is your internal affair. Cause apart from that, we'll continue to entertain matters pertaining to internal affairs. INEC, we should have gone to appeal court to ask, what do you mean by status quo? Define what they mean by status quo. Other people have also defined it differently. Some people have said the status quo means let David Mark committee be in place because it was in place after it was in place and the court matter came up.
So they said status quo ante bellum.
Should be so INEC has jumped into the foray, as it were. And I don't think it augurs well for the party, but for the commission.
No, it doesn't also augur well for the ADC. Yes. No matter how hard they fight this, unless a quick reversal happens, they may not be able to present candidates for the 2027 election.
Now, is that the wish of some people? A lot of people have said that has been the agenda of the ruling party. The ruling party has come out variously to deny. They point at what is happening to the PDP, they point at what is happening to the Labour Party and said that is the agenda. Now, why is it that after all this is now the turn of the ADC? We have a democracy. And a lot of people, including those in the present ruling party, fought the military for the restoration of this democracy. And we only appeal to the actors, to the players. Play by the rules. Don't destroy our democracy. Play by the rules. Power is transient. Tomorrow you may not be in power, and that thing you use while you are in power may be used against you. Let's have the mail.
Very well said there, Amici. Good morning, Nigerians, and welcome to the mail segment on Political Platform. My name is Fumilayo Emokai, and our first mail is coming from Victor Ebi from Bayelsa, and he said, good morning, Platform crew. When I kept shouting on this platform that the opposition is not to blame in the political crisis we're having, many didn't listen. They kept saying we're a growing democracy and we're learning, and I have always pointed out to those playing that we are learning card is not only good thing one can learn. Bad things are learned too. We are learning bad democratic ideals in Nigeria. The PDP crisis seems over and people have left the party for ADC. And now the same ugly head we saw in Labour Party and the PDP had come up again with ADC. If we continue like this will be the new norm in Nigeria politics. So I plead with the journalists in Nigeria to be more focused on investigative journalism and feed Nigerians with the proper information. Let's know whose interest it is that Nigeria must be a one-party state. God bless Nigeria. Laji Abbas from Ida local government area in Kogi State says, lamentation once again placed Nigeria's governance failures under the spotlight yesterday. Dr. Amechi rightly pointed to the absence of accountability. But I ask, is this system not a reflection of the rules designed from 1999 to favor the PDP? And if so, was there ever a better moment for Nigeria to rise than at that time? Consider the Dasuki arms deal an epistle that deepened insecurity across the nation? Has it been properly accounted for? Who has taken responsibility? What about silent collapse of our refineries, now draining the economy through endless importation of refined products, and the staggering $40 or $20 billion reportedly unremitted, as revealed years ago by former CBN Governor Sanusi Lamido Sanusi? Has that been resolved? These are not minor lapses. They are fundamental frauds responsible for our failures at the core of our national crisis. We are urged to engage, to send in objective messages. Yet in practice, only selective voices are amplified. Dr. Amechi Anakwe was the enormous publicity funding reportedly received from former President Jonathan not enough to command global media influence? That reality continues to raise questions about the depth of criticism the PDP receives on your platform, even at its lowest ebb. Ade Sam from Wuse Abuja also says, earlier part of this present administration, some ministers were firing on all cylinders with beautiful policies and actions. Suddenly, the fire has gone out completely. A typical example is the Minister of Health, Prof. Ali Pate. Recently, nothing has been heard from his honorable office after the last budget defense. Another example is the current Minister of Defense, a perfect gentleman and a good soldier in the army days. Right now, nothing. Because the last official duty I saw him was at the APC convention ground checking on the security there. Please, what's happening to these people? Is it the office or the politics of this administration? And Ugochukwu Godwin from Lagos also has this to say. From Yakubu Gowon to President Obasanjo and Jonathan are all advising President Tinubu on some of the things he should be doing. One wonders why they didn't do them when they were in office. Tomorrow, Tinubu will leave office and be telling his successor on measures to take. When President Jonathan and late Buhari were in office, we kept hearing about cabal. Today, you don't hear it again in the media. Who is preventing the president from turning Nigeria to El Dorado? This system of government is structured to fail. Late President Buhari said he couldn't wait to finish his tenure because of the complexity of Nigeria. He insisted he would serve, but was overwhelmed. He need a peculiar system. We need a peculiar system that will entrench accountability, prevent corruption, and reduce money bags politics. It's in the hands of the National Assembly. We can't have a three-tier of government and only two is working, where state and national assemblies will approve everything from the executive. And this is coming from Comrade Monday, from Amen, from Abuja. Please permit me to use this medium to express my heartfelt condolences to the good people and government of Plateau and Kaduna states over the attacks by gunmen in Agwan Rukuba district in Jos, Plateau State, and Kahir village in Kagaro, local government area of Kaduna State, Kagako, local government area of Kaduna State. These unfortunate killings of innocent Nigerians is very reprehensible, lugubrious, barbaric, and condemnable. I pray that God grants the souls of the dead eternal rest, speedy recovery to the injured, and fortitude to their loved ones to bear their irreparable losses. Amen. As President visits Plateau State today, I call on him to declare state of emergency on issue of insecurity in the country, with a renewed presidential charge to the security chiefs and security agents to go after the perpetrators of these heinous crimes, apprehend them, and the law should take its full course in order to serve as deterrence to others. To all Plateau sons and daughters, irrespective of political affiliations, arise and close ranks to ensure that the relative peace the state have enjoyed over time is not compromised. Indeed, this is all we can take this morning on the mail segment. Keep sending your mails with your names and location to politicalplatform@dargroup.com. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much for the mails from our YouTube channel. Prince, okay, let's start from Kaude Fagbemi. He says, migration is a natural thing, but it's now regulated. That's why you need visa before entering another country. Land is no longer free. That's why you have CFO. Well, it wasn't free. Migration was also regulated in the past. You could be killed or you kill the people you leave there. Yes, you regulate with blood then. So there were some form of regulation in the past. Prince Itodo says 2023 election might be the last election I will ever participate in if opposition is not allowed to field candidates in the next election. I wait for my country. Bio MF20W. An opposition should always be on its toes so that they never fail to any booby trap from the ruling party, especially when dealing with contestations. Ugochukwu says the ADC issue is still in court. It's bad that the DC spokesman is spreading a false or fake resignation letter of nephew. Shouldn't he be arrested, he asks. Well, the much we can take on today's edition of the program. On behalf of the crew, my name is Amici Anakwe. Enjoy your day.